fosters.
Okay, wonderful. So let's go ahead and get started with our favorite night of the year, where we get to honor and thank our incredible ambassadors. You are joined by your fabulous co-hosts tonight, Cherie Sheets there in the red. I'm Sarah Robinson in the gold, and Carrie Murray, our president as well, will be on to be able to share about our work throughout the year. So thank you all so much for joining. Cherie, anything you'd like to add?
No, I want to apologize for wearing the same dress 2 years in a row. I know that is just so forbidden, but when it comes to serving others, I don't really spend my time on fashion. You know what I mean? But I want to thank everyone that was able to join this evening. It's an honor to work alongside you in all seriousness. To take an extra hour out of your day to join us this evening is very important as we honor you tonight. Your time that you give and the awareness that you spread for ShelterBox is greatly appreciated. And I'm just grateful to walk this green carpet with you tonight, but also to walk the ShelterBox mission with you every day.
Perfect. Thank you, Cherie. So why don't we go ahead and jump right in. Carrie is having some audio issues at the moment, so we will just forge ahead here and start by saying thank you. I know that she truly means this from the bottom of her heart, and from all of us here on the ShelterBox team. Our volunteers are truly the backbone of this organization. ShelterBox was started by a group of volunteers. There were Rotarians back in England who saw a problem. Many of them were members of the military and were on deployments overseas and responding to disasters when they saw and observed that after a disaster, oftentimes food and medicine would flood into a community, but that there was not a great shelter solution for families. And so, being Rotarians and volunteers, they saw a problem and they wanted to fix it. And so what they started to do is to put boxes together that contained all of the equipment that families would need to be able to survive. And so it's from those roots in volunteerism that have brought us to this place where we are today. And we're so thrilled to be able to have such a dedicated core of volunteers that continues to this day. So whether you're serving us as an ambassador or as a ShelterBox response team member or as a board member, we truly could not do the work that we do without you. So thank you. And Carrie, can you let me know if you can hear me okay, or if we can hear you? Okay, yep, we can't, so I'll keep going through. So much like years of the past, 2018 was a year when we experienced so many disasters across our world. And so ShelterBox was able to respond in so many different ways, whether it was to hurricanes, earthquakes, tsunamis, or also the ongoing conflicts that we continue to see on the rise. As we've shared with you on other calls, global displacement of families continues to be one of the biggest issues facing our world today. And so the work that you do is so critical in helping families be able to rebuild and to start to put their lives and also their communities back together after a disaster. And so that's why this photo we feel is so compelling. You see the emergency shelter there, but also us giving families the tools that they need to start to get back on their feet again as they continue that process to recovery. And here you can see another example of our shelter kit at work and how people are able to take just the basic supplies, the low-cost tools and equipment that we provide, and can transform them into housing and spaces where their families can call home and start to come together again. And I just love this photo because, as you can see, it's truly been made into a home. So there they've taken the contents of our shelter kits, like the tarps and the tools, and been able to make a new place and foundation in which they can start a new life. And so this photo is from the Philippines from this past year and is part of what you've helped to make possible. Because of you, we've also had an incredible impact in Syria, where we've been working since 2012. We've been distributing shelters, but also what we call non-food items that are specifically targeted to this region and to the type of displacement that we're seeing there that's been caused by the ongoing conflict. So we've talked a lot about how we're continuing to evolve our aid and to offer an incredible suite of just different types of aid materials based on the need and also the climate of a particular location. And so in Syria, just this last year alone, we've been able, because of you, to provide everything from tarps to tents to winter mats and ground blankets that can be used for families, items like mattresses and solar lights and kitchen sets, and also blankets and tools that families need, as you can see in the photos here. We also have had a similar impact in different countries across the globe, whether it was the Lake Chad Basin where we're responding to conflict, as you can see on the left there, to the Philippines on the top right, to actually a series of responses in Indonesia this year, the first to a series of earthquakes and the second to the devastating tsunami that struck the Sulawesi area last year. So altogether, our ambassadors combined to raise an incredible $1.19 million in 2018, and it was thanks to the tireless efforts of the people on this call and across our network nationwide. So thank you for your incredible support. We also saw an increase in engagement with our ambassadors spending, more ambassadors out there fundraising on our behalf. We grew our team from 167 active ambassadors last year to 184 active ambassadors this year, and we're so thrilled to be able to have more of these new ambassadors on the phone with us today. So if you're a new ambassador, we're so thrilled to have you on our team, and welcome. And we also are excited to be able to continue to welcome new people to this team. In the past year, we onboarded 53 new team members and are so thrilled to be able to expand our reach through the incredible participation of these new members. And we invite you to let your friends and family members and fellow Rotarians know about our work so that we can continue to grow our ranks and be able to serve more people across the world who are in need of our support. And together we are continuing to really fight to make sure that we're creating a world where no family is without shelter when disaster strikes. And that truly is our vision. Sadly, we know that the rate of global displacement is only expected to rise. By the year 2050, it's estimated that 200 million people will be displaced from things like climate change and increased conflict. And so this really drives us to transform your support, the support of our donors and our volunteers, into the hope and power of families all over the world. And so we know that we're going to do alongside you whatever it takes to make sure that no family is without shelter when disaster strikes. So thank you on behalf of everybody on the ShelterBox team, and we're absolutely thrilled to have you as a part of the team, and wanted to share with you some of the achievements from this past year. So there you can see the impact of all of the countries in the world where ShelterBox was able to respond thanks to your support. And here's a just quick look at last year in numbers. So we were able to serve 210,000 families last year with emergency shelter and life-saving supplies. We deployed to 17 different countries through the support of our ShelterBox response team volunteers. And those volunteers, all 69 of them, deployed for a total of 1,156 days, and it's through that incredible commitment that we're able to reach all of the families that we do. Our average volunteer deployment was 16.75 days long, and so that was almost 17 days that these volunteers were away from their families and their jobs so that they could serve those most in need around the globe. So thank you to our response team volunteers for making that piece of our work possible, and also to our ambassadors who help us raise the funds that are vitally needed to be able to reach those families as well. There we go. So we had a competition for the best picture of 2018, keeping in the Oscar spirit, and we're pleased to announce that the winner is from the Dominican Republic in the bottom right-hand corner there. It was your votes that pushed this best picture to the top and really shows the recovery that so many of our families get to experience because of the work that you do. Thank you so much for your votes. At this point, Cherie, I will turn it over to you to announce our top 10 fundraisers.
Absolutely. I want to echo Sarah's sentiments in regards to your efforts and go into our top 10 fundraisers. So we have at the top, number 10, Donna Gully at $24,755. Jack and Nancy Fadigan, $24,941. Lewis Turpin, $25,985. David Adder, $29,537. Tom and Marie Grant at $30,670. Laura Helmer, $31,807. Bill Woodard at $53,153. Jim Carrier at $55,321. Catherine Fick at $56,839. And Eric Elsie at $69,054 raised in 2018 for our ShelterBox mission. And going forward, we know that in addition to those top 10, many of you put in additional hours and additionally raised funds for our mission to help further our work. So on this screen, you will see rounding out the total of top 25 and additional 15 top who have raised these funds for our mission. We're very grateful. Although the name may not be pictured here outside of these 25 that we've named today, please know that every dollar counts towards our mission, and we are grateful for you, but we do want to recognize these efforts this evening. So thank you all. And to recognize further something that I've been working on over the last year, I want to introduce to you this evening our new recognition program. For those of you who started off sharing ShelterBox and are raising funds for us, now we are going to initiate new fundraising recognition levels. So for when you hit that 10,000 up to 25,000, you're going to receive a bronze ShelterBox lapel pin. For silver will be awarded to anyone who's raised between 25,000 and 50,000. Gold for 50,000 to 75,000, platinum 75,000 to 100,000, and that platinum will get a gem added for each 100,000 raised. This is new, and once the pins arrive, we will be retroactively acknowledging anybody at these levels, and then once you bump up to the new level, you get to keep the prior pin. But this recognition program will help you tell your ShelterBox story in an even more unique way and recognize you for the efforts and the tireless hours that you put in for our mission. So thank you. Speaking of those tireless hours, of the activity hours that were reported in 2018, and this is just reported, our ambassador spent 9,369 hours and 15 minutes sharing ShelterBox, but that's just of what was reported. This does not include the countless hours of those that just don't even feel like they need to submit an activity report. The activities that were reported, though, were 816, and that goes way above and beyond. You guys surely live service above self. Thank you.
And Carrie, I think your audio may be fixed now. Is there anything you wanted to share with the team here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so team, I just want to again extend a huge amount of gratitude to all of you for all of your work that you do day in and day out to rally, raise awareness of ShelterBox, and raise financial support that truly enables the life-saving mission of this organization. And I know Shara had kicked it off and shared a bunch of the photos. But really, I think ultimately we talk about and count the work, as you know, in the tens of thousands of families and people that we serve around the world and provide life-saving shelter to. But at the end of the day, you know, each of those families have, you know, have people that really, you know, at the end of the day, they may not be here without your support. And so I put a couple of photos in there towards the end, but one was a few of the families that really spoke to me about the people that you helped over the course of 2018. And I know today we're looking at how we're honoring all of you, and there's so many of you that I'm consistently so inspired by each and every one of you. But one of those folks that we looked at, you know, when we came up with a few slides for today, is the woman that you see on the left. And she's somebody that I think about each and every day, and her name is Harmata. And she is one of the people that your work enabled over the past year, someone that lost everything, that is in an IDP camp for displaced people. And what so impressed me about her is that she literally had to flee the violence that she was experiencing because of Boko Haram. And she went to a camp where she literally had nothing. And because of you, it was basic supplies and household equipment that got her going again. And for her, it was cooking equipment that she said as soon as she received these supplies, like the cooking equipment, she started making porridge for her children. And she started feeling like a mom again who could take care of her children. And it's folks like Harmata, and it's folks like Ahmed in the picture down below that you see who lost his wife, who lost his home in the earthquake in Sulawesi in Indonesia last August, and lost everything and still had everything with his family still there to take care of, but no home. And so through your support, providing him with a shelter box, a tent, and the supplies to start to recover and rebuild their lives again. And so I know today we're going to talk a lot about the number of activities and the number of dollars raised. And I want all of you to know that every single activity, every presentation you do, to every classroom, to every Rotary Club, to every church, every festival that you go to, is ultimately finding its way to help people like Ahmed and people like Harmata rebuild their lives again, people who've lost absolutely everything. And that's why we're here today, is to honor those efforts. And there are so many of you around the world that comprise our ambassador team, and our folks in the United States really make it possible. And I'm excited today that Sarah and Cherie are going to share with you some of these big awards. I turned on the Oscars last night and I got excited. I turned the Oscars on, I saw Lady Gaga and they were singing there. But what really that reminded me of was us coming together today. And I was really excited to get on that call today and just say a big thanks to all of you. And super excited about your efforts. And I know we're gonna showcase some of them tonight. You all deserve Oscars. You're all heroes in my mind. And I'm just so appreciative of all the work that you do each and every day to raise visibility and the support that makes this work possible. So thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate you being on. Thanks so much. And then Cherie, I will turn it back over to you to share our activity hours and those who are putting in the time.
Absolutely. So speaking of the hours that you've put in to make this work possible, these are the top activity hours that were reported in 2018. We have one, Tom Dewson, who has reported 1,688 hours dedicated to the ShelterBox mission. And I just want to thank this team. You guys give up your nights, your weekends, you leave work in the middle of the day, you're waking up early and driving to meetings. And I appreciate you, the willingness, the flexibility to do that and share ShelterBox. So thank you to those and the impressive hours that you've put in. Bill Woodard, Wayne Childs, Tom and Marie Grant, Peggy Malcolm Carlaw, Nancy Dodge, Dave Nichols, Laura Helmer, Greg Krauska, Liz Anderson. You've made our leaderboard this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what this board looks like in 2020. If ever you guys need help submitting those activity reports to get the time you spend sharing ShelterBox counted, make sure to reach out to me. I'm here to help you anytime.
Great, thank you, Cherie. And at this time, we'd like to honor those volunteers who received what's called a Presidential Service Award. Each year, the President of the United States gives awards that are based on time given to various nonprofits to be able to honor all of the hours that volunteers dedicate to service in this country. And so we had some very special recipients this year. These were volunteers who served over 4,000 hours for ShelterBox over the course of their lifetime. And so we wanted to take a moment to especially recognize and thank those on this list. Jim Pickett, who's from Washington, Tom and Marie Grant from Pennsylvania, and Tom Dewson from New York for their outstanding contributions in this area and for the incredible amount of hours they've committed to our organization. As a part of those volunteer service awards, we also recognize those who serve over 500 hours. So imagine just how much time that is over just the course of 1 year. And so special and huge thanks go out to Bill Woodard, to Derek Locke, Nancy Dodge, Tim Osborne, and Todd Finkelstone, who each achieved Gold Presidential Volunteer Service Awards. Thank you so much for your outstanding service. We also had a large number of our volunteers in that 250 to 499 hour range. As you can see on the screen there, it's a huge group of you. Thank you so much for your contributions. Bill Decker, Bill Tobin, Billy Spear, Bruce Heller, Candy Streff, David Adder, Greg Krauska, Jack Young, Jeff Jethridge, Jeff Lichty, Jim Carrier, Catherine Fick, Louis Turpin, Mark Midyett, Mary Sloan, Ned Morris, Parker Emerson, Sharon Willison, Steve Tonkinson, and Wayne Childs. It's just absolutely incredible to see all of the time that's donated to this organization throughout the year. And for the Bronze Presidential Service Awards, so those who gave 100 to 249 hours, there's a lot of names to name, so I'll just let you look at them on the screen there. But again, thank you so much for your outstanding contributions and for the time that you give to this organization that truly does impact lives each and every day. Cherie,
And Sarah,
go ahead.
Yes, I'm going to take it over. I'm going to grab the mic for you for a second, and I want to recognize once again and acknowledge our new Hall of Fame members that joined the Hall of Fame in 2018. Hall of Fame members are those that raise $100,000 for ShelterBox over time, and those members in 2018 were Nancy Dodge from Alaska and Florida, spent some time in both of those states, Bruce Heller, Texas, Brian Glenn, Texas, Ross Spencer, Illinois, Tom Dewson, New York, Jim Miller, North Carolina, Mike Freeman, Georgia, and I want to recognize that two of them are active response team members. One of them is retired response team member. So again, going back to the amount of time, energy, and effort you put into sharing this mission, thank you. And here are new Hall of Famers as of 2018.
We also wanted to thank and acknowledge another group that gives an incredible amount of time and effort to this organization, and that's our board of directors. They help us with everything from the governance of the organization to helping us really strategically grow and decide where we should focus our efforts for the largest impact. And really none of our work would be possible without this incredibly committed group. Of all the organizations I've served with before, I've never met such a passionate and engaged group of board members, and we feel very fortunate to have them in our corner. So thank you to the board of directors there. You can see them listed for the year 2018, the past year that we're looking back on. So Jim Carrier was at the helm along with Vice Chair Mark Midyett and really led us to an incredible year of fundraising, but also of impact as well. So thank you so much. And with that, we'd also like to thank and honor a couple of our longtime board members who have finished their terms and are now, I think, with their feet up somewhere eating bonbons. But thank you to Teresa Mohan for your incredible service, to John Keene, and also to Jim Carrier. We're not letting them go very far, and we know that they will still continue to serve in our organization, just in other capacities. But again, we're entirely grateful for your years of contribution and service on our board of directors. We also wanted to thank an incredible group of volunteers, and that's our Ambassador Council. So we have our country of ambassadors broken down into different regions, and we have regional leads who help mentor and guide and offer advice to our ambassador team across the entire country. And so here you can see the faces of those Ambassador Council members who really help to steer and shape our program, but also act as voices from the field. So if there are resources you need or concerns you have or extra support that's required, they come back and share all of that with us as staff, so that we can continue to strengthen and grow our program. And so thank you again to all of those who give incredible amounts of time to lead our ambassador teams across the US. We really couldn't do it without you. At this point too, we just wanted to thank and recognize some of our ShelterBox response team members who are taking a step back and who have retired from the response team this year. So longtime servers like Bill Woodard and Mark Dyer, Kevin Mofort, and Hunter Tanis. So thank you so much for the time that you've served on the ShelterBox response team. And among that, we wanted to especially thank Bill Woodard, who, in addition to his multiple deployments for the organization, has also served as an outstanding ambassador and mentor, and also on our board of directors currently. So thank you, Bill, and we recognize your time as a ShelterBox response team, where we know that you committed so much in the way of improvements through the creation of the SRT forum and by counseling new SRTs and helping to mentor that team, in addition to all of the other hats you wore for this organization. So thank you for your outstanding support. We very much appreciate it. We also have what we call the All Around Award, and this is given to an ambassador who contributes in a number of different ways. So more than just doing Rotary presentations once a month, they really find ways to expand their service. And so I'm personally honored to give this year's All Around Award to Jim Carrier. Jim has been such a committed leader for our team, serving as the board of directors this past year, but he also always finds ways to go above and beyond. For years now, he's hosted a special event. For those who haven't gotten a chance to personally meet Jim, he is from New Orleans, and so he makes an incredible jambalaya. So he has a great event called Jambalaya, which this year exceeded its fundraising targets and reached its highest amount ever. He also, at the same time he's doing these incredible fundraisers and serving as our board chair, has the time to serve as a cheerleader and a friend to our staff team. And he is supportive of our ambassador network throughout the entire country and has really helped us in different ways to be able to grow this organization during his many years of service. So thank you, Jim, for the All Around Award, and we're excited to be able to award that to you today. We very much appreciate your efforts. And I know you're on with us today. Jim, is there anything you'd like to add, a speech perhaps?
Okay. Jim's usually
Sarah,
not.
I was muted.
Oh, no worries. Hi, Jim.
This certainly was not expected. I thank you as staff for appreciating what I do, and I thank everybody on the call because we all do this together, and I truly appreciate the effort we all put in because we're all trying to do the same thing. So with that, you can put me back on mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
And Sarah, I would like to present this year's Relationship Rockstar. So in all of the hours that you put in and the time that you give, one of the important ways to help spread our mission is through our relationships, right? We have relationships with our audiences, with our Rotary clubs, Rotarians, and we steward those relationships. And was somebody in 2018 that really stood out in this aspect. They not only grew their own team beneath them and managed a portion of their district through ambassadors and helping to delegate clubs out to different ambassadors to ensure organization and structure up there and manage those relationships. But this person also used their relationships within Rotary, a friend actually, to help bring in special revenue to ShelterBox. And so this year I want to acknowledge, are we ready? Laura Helmer as our 2018 relationship rock star. Laura, you have just gone gangbusters in 2018, bringing the relationships, stewarding them, and loving on these people and getting them passionate about ShelterBox. And I know you're on today. You're with me on the green carpet. Is there anything that you would like to say today?
Well, gosh, thank you so much. You know, when you love what you do and great things happen and more great things happen and you share your passion and it's shared with even more people, that just makes me really happy and fulfilled. ShelterBox has been a passion of mine since 2007. I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to serve this fine organization and work with such great people as all of you. You can unmute me.
Thank you, Laura.
And for this award, we call this the Service Above Self Award. Those nominees you see pictured today: Wayne Childs, Bruce Heller, Ross Spencer and Donna Gully of Illinois, Brian Glenn, Texas, Kelly White, Pennsylvania, Laura Helmer, Oregon, Dave Nichols, Washington. These folks have, and all of you do this, but they really stuck out in my mind as people who, when I picked up the phone or sent them an email, had a speaker request that needed to be filled, insert the next crazy thing that I needed help covering. These folks really bent over backwards to help me, as well as much of the team. But let's see who comes on here for 2020. But here are nominees, and our winner this year for the Service Above Self Award is Wayne Childs. And Wayne couldn't be on today, but I know that I am so grateful for the legacy that he has led here with ShelterBox.
Thank you, Cherie. And our next award is for youth engagement. So those who really go above and beyond to make sure that we're sharing our mission with the younger generation and building the future of supporters for ShelterBox. And so we wanted to thank and recognize Ann Crandall out of North Carolina, Eric Ricey out of Washington, Peggy Carla out of Oregon, and also Greg Krauska out of Minnesota, who in addition to work they do with adult groups in helping share our mission, they also put in a lot of time to making sure that we're educating and sharing ShelterBox with those younger generations as well. And so the winner of the 2018 ShelterBox Youth Engagement Award goes to Peggy Carla. Peggy had an incredible outreach in her community to be able to get some younger Interact students involved. They held a project that raised $4,000 on their very first outing with us. And so it was through the excitement that she was able to share with this younger generation that we were able to continue to grow our mission there in Oregon. So thank you and congratulations, Peggy. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Eric for pointing me in the direction of youth. After working with these people and then meeting with the Youth Services Chair in our district, we've got Disaster Dave and Ned Morris coming down to do a big presentation for Interact and Rotaract at our district conference, and I think these kids get so excited about this. It's really exciting and engaging to work with them. In addition to what we do with Rotary clubs. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Peggy. And thanks to everybody who was so active with youth in their community. And this is a great list of people to get ideas from if you're not or looking for new ways to engage these other generations. We also have what we call the Beyond the Box Award. So this is awarded to folks who really come up with new and creative ways of sharing the ShelterBox story. And so we had Ishun Lai, whose name is misspelled. I apologize there, Ishun. There's an A in there, who helped us with an Untamed New England race. This was an adventure race that was not part of what ShelterBox had ever done before, and she was able to get us listed as the core beneficiary of their event in a brand new event for us. We had Eric Elsey, who you all know and love, who paddled the entire Mississippi River in support of ShelterBox, 2,552 miles. We also had Henry and Bill, our ambassadors out of Pennsylvania, who held an incredible dine and dance event that raised over $15,000 for us through an incredible dinner event and auction just right at the end of last year. And then also we wanted to recognize and thank the team out of Oregon, primarily around Eugene, but Bill Woodard, Greg Vick, Kieran Walsh, and the whole team of supporters there in Central Oregon for the home show that they do. At that particular event, they receive a $10,000 matching gift from the planners of a home show, and then attendees to the home show all throughout the weekend to make contributions to ShelterBox as well at a booth that's staffed by ShelterBox supporters and also Rotarians. And so they raised over $25,000 again this year at that incredible event. And so we're very honored this year to be able to give the Beyond the Box Award to Ishun Lai. Thank you, Ishun. We are really excited about this Untamed New England event because in addition to raising over $16,000, what it did is it brought in 178 new donors to our organization. So those were people who never gave to ShelterBox before, but because they learned about it through this adventure race, were able to contribute for the first time and to learn about our organization. And we're hoping that they will be able to continue their service with us and that they'll stay on with us as donors. So congratulations. And Ishun, I know you're great at looking outside the box and going beyond Rotary and finding new ways to engage people. So anything you'd like to share upon your acceptance of this award?
Hi guys, wow, this is unexpected and so cool. Thanks so much for the award, it means a lot. I'm just gonna share with you something that I was talking to Malcolm Sheed about. You may or may not know that Malcolm is the head of our monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning group over at operations. I've now been on 3 monitoring and evaluation deployments, and one of the things Malcolm really is trying to hammer home is that we're now at the point of being an agency that is well respected in the humanitarian world. So we're in a position to kind of share with people what we do and what we've learned from it. And I think that's true of the way we do our fundraising as well. We've all come up with such innovative ways to get people interested in the causes of humanitarian aid. And I'm just so proud to be able to work with you and continue to bring some of those ideas to you and also learn from you all. So thanks so much for that.
Thank you, Ishun, and keep the good ideas coming. For those of you that saw the video on Saturday, Ishun was just in the Philippines and filmed a nice video thanking Rotary for us there. That's on our Facebook page. So if you've not seen that, please be sure to have a look. Cherie, would you like to
Yes, I was going to say, I'm going to take the microphone from you again. I really want to acknowledge and give a shout out to our Rising Stars of 2018. So these are ambassadors that came on sometime last year, and they are folks that after the onboarding, they took it and they ran with it. We're talking jumping in, full-fledged, running 90 miles an hour, and those nominees are Frank Spears from Georgia, Lee and Catherine Barr Nelson in Colorado, Fernando Vieira in Massachusetts, Oscar Sada from Illinois, Glenn Harris in Oregon, and our winner for this year's Rising Star Award is Frank the Sizzle Spears. And I do believe Frank is on with us. Frank, do you have anything you'd like to say?
I am just overwhelmed, excited, pumped up, and ready to stroke the coals. Thank you, and let's keep sizzling together.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank. Congratulations. Perfect. Keep sharing the deal.
All right. And every year we also like to acknowledge a team that comes together, grows, and we would like to acknowledge a team that actually grew quite rapidly last spring because of the leader. And I would like to acknowledge them. They couldn't be on tonight, but that leader is David Adder and the Colorado team of the year this year. So that team comprised of Ann Aggie, Liz Anderson, Bonnie Boyle, Laura Hughes, Gary Kerr, Pam Pine, Tammy Mayfield, Lee and Catherine Barr Nelson, and leader David Adder.
Way to go, Team Colorado. We also have and would like to thank our ambassador couple of the year. As you saw around the week of Valentine's Day, we have so many awesome couples who serve together on behalf of ShelterBox. And one of the special couples that we wanted to be sure and thank today for their long time commitment to this organization are Jack and Nancy Fadigan out of New York. For years and years, Jack and Nancy have together shared the word of ShelterBox with their Rotary community and beyond. They also own a gardening store, and they prominently feature ShelterBox set up within their store and raise money among their clients and customers each year, in addition to the standard work that they do as ambassadors at things like pets conferences and district conferences. And so thank you so much to Jack and Nancy for your years and years of ShelterBox service. And we're very happy to honor you this year as our ambassador couple of the year. Thank you.
All right, Sarah, the time has come. It is time, everyone, to name our ambassadors of the year. So the folks being acknowledged today have put in thousands of planning hours.
They've gotten us countless media impressions.
And they engaged over 75 Rotary clubs.
Are you guessing yet? Do you know who this could be? Congratulations, Holly Anderson and Eric Elsey with the Mississippi Expedition. Together, this dynamic duo revolutionized the way that we worked. They went to a part of the country where we had very few supporters and ambassadors and Rotary Club followers, and just brought the incredible mission and message of ShelterBox to corners of the countries where we hadn't been. And so through his trek down the Mississippi River and through Holly's incredible support, coordinating all of the chaos behind the scenes, they got us more media impressions, Rotary Club engagements, dollars than we had seen through a single project in the past. And it was through this incredible contribution that we were able to share ShelterBox, and there's still ripple effects from this event. We're continually getting speaking requests for Eric, and asks for ideas from Holly about how to boost social media impressions from the incredible work that this team was able to do. And Cherie, I know that we have spent a lot of hours on the phone helping to plan and support this group. Anything you would like to add in honor of Holly and also of Eric?
Well, I just have to say I started with ShelterBox just a little over a year ago. And at about this time, I kept hearing the words expedition. You know about the expedition we're doing, right? The expedition. Little did I know how big that expedition was going to be. And before long, I was on weekly calls with these folks. I am amazed at the coordination ability of Holly Anderson, who was like the GPS on the ground through weather and through different conditions. I mean, changing times of meetings and meeting locations. And then Eric's tenacity and his endurance. You know, I saw it through the planning stages, but actually seeing him in Orleans and having seen him meet his 90-day goal was just so awe-inspiring. And I am so honored, privileged, and proud of Holly Anderson and Eric Elsey. So thank you guys for all that you did to make the Mississippi Expedition come to life and for bringing such awareness to ShelterBox.
And I know you're both on with us today. Holly and Eric, anything you'd like to add? Speech.
Well, so Holly and I met at SAFE a few years ago, and then we ran into each other at Rotary International Convention in Atlanta. And that's where I told her that, yeah, next summer I'm going to canoe down the Mississippi River. I think I'm going to do it as a fundraiser for ShelterBox, maybe raise a couple bucks. And she said, she's like, that's a really stupid idea. And then she did a little research and she's like, well, actually, you could do that. It's possible. So I would have raised probably $17 on this trip if it wasn't for Holly. She did everything. She definitely deserves to be Ambassador of the Year. She organized the whole trip, every event, every fundraiser, the entire social media campaign. I got to enjoy all the benefits of doing what I love to do, canoeing, and living my childhood dream. But the Mississippi expedition was a success because of Holly. So I got to give all the credit to her.
Holly, anything you'd like to add? And you may be muted on your end. Holly, I think you might be muted. She usually has something to share, and if she's not able to have the audio work right now, I know she'll probably record a video and share it with all of us on Facebook. But Holly, anything you want to add? Sorry, Holly, we can't hear you, but I know that you are savvy on the camera and on social media, so we'll have you record a little video thanks, and then we'll put it on our Ambassador Facebook page later today. So thank you so much, and congratulations, Holly and Eric. It was an incredible effort and really fun to watch, and we're so appreciative of the awareness that you've helped us raise throughout the country that, as I mentioned, continues to grow even today. So thank you so much. We also had this year what we called the ShelterBox Challenge. And so at this time last year on this very call, we announced this special challenge where the ambassador who raised the most money during 2018 would have the opportunity to take a trip to England and to visit our ShelterBox Visitor Center that you can see pictured there. We also had a special edition of another ambassador who would also be chosen to go on this trip. So not only will you be meeting other ShelterBox staff members and volunteers, but also getting a special briefing from our operations team, as well as a look inside our ShelterBox Visitor Center at our headquarters in Truro, England. And so that second prize is going to be given tonight to a special ambassador. Essentially what we did is for every $1,000 our ambassadors raised this year, we put their name into a hat or a bag, a school bag. And so Cherie is going to have a special drawing for us. So Cherie, would you like to do the honors and announce our winners, both for the top fundraising prize and then also for the special raffle drawing that we have live for you tonight? Cherie, are you able to just go ahead and share your webcam with us?
I am. You might be able to hear me now. I can see me. Sarah, I don't know if you can, but I do think that the rest of the group can. So hopefully everyone can see me.
Perfect. There you are.
All right. I wanted to thank you all. I'm going to announce the 2018 winner tonight, but I do want to also say we've celebrated many of you, but I celebrate all of you every day. And it really is, I can't say it enough how proud I am to work alongside of you. So without further ado though, the 2018 ShelterBox Challenge for the most funds raised in 2018 goes to, drum roll please, Sarah. Eric Elsie will be going to the UK to take advantage of all those perks that Sarah mentioned, meeting more staff members in Truro. But I have an additional prize to announce. So for every $1,000 that was raised or that you raised as an ambassador, your name got put into this school bag. There are 739 slips of paper in here. Some of you have 32 entries, and for every 1,000, some of you have one, but everyone has a chance. It only takes one to win. So let's see who it's going to be. Okay, I have a name. Are you ready? You can't see that. It says Wayne Childs.
Woo! And as you mentioned, Cherie, Wayne's not on with us tonight, but we'll be excited to call him in the morning and share the news and make plans so that he and Eric can go over and see the visitor center and get to experience all of these different pieces about what ShelterBox is, how we deploy, how we're able to reach the most remote communities around the world. And so thank you so much for sharing, Cherie, and for doing the prize drawing. It's incredibly exciting. Unless there are any other questions from our team here, we would like to go ahead and thank each of you. As Cherie mentioned, it's really every single day that we're grateful for the work that you do, not just this one night a year, but we like to take this one night and to be able to give special recognition to those who have gone above and beyond. But we know all of you give up so much time and hours with your family and lots of mileage to be able to support what it is that we do. So on behalf of Cherie and I and the entire ShelterBox team, and also on behalf of those who we serve but may never meet, thank you so much for your outstanding efforts to ShelterBox. And with that, we will wrap up our 2018 Oscar Awards. Hope to talk with you soon. Thank you, everybody.